12 days into the first month, the year 2021, a very good afternoon. You're just in time for the latest happenings in the country and beyond borders. KBC Lunchtime News begins right now. We got news on what was happening as schools continued with their phase of reopening for physical learning for learners. Several stakeholders from government are visiting several schools just to assess their status with regards to the implementation of COVID-19 safety protocols. A lot is emanating from these tours. We got details about what they are finding out. Of course, also matters politics shaping our comprehensive news bulletin. My name is Safin Aching Oma and our sign language interpreter is Lucy Mutura. We begin our coverage along the corridors of justice. This particular morning, former Nairobi Governor Mbuvi Sonko, through his lawyer Harrison Kinyanjui, moved to court to seek conservatory orders prohibiting the Speaker Benson Mutura from holding office as the acting governor and making decisions in this key position. Let's get more details about this particular case. Sarafina Robi has been following up this issue for us, and she's joining us now live just to give us a breakdown on what this, request by the former governor is all about. A very good afternoon, Sarafina. What can you tell us?
Indeed, a very good afternoon, Safin. You're coming to you live from the Milimani Law Court here in Nairobi, whereby, as you had stated earlier on, we were following up on a case whereby the former Nairobi Governor Mbuvi Sonko, through his lawyer Harrison Kinyanjui, had moved to court, whereby they're seeking conservatory orders, seeking to prohibit the acting governor, who is the Speaker of the Nairobi County Assembly, Benson Mutura, from conducting or acting in any manner as the substantive governor of Nairobi, and also citing a letter dated the 6th of January, whereby they're also seeking conservatory orders prohibiting him from appointing or dismissing anyone as the substantive governor of Nairobi, and also they're seeking conservatory orders prohibiting the Nairobi County Assembly from appointing or vetting and approving Anne Kananu Mwenda, who had been nominated earlier on, from being vetted or approved as the Nairobi deputy governor, whereby there have been a lot of submissions and oppositions in regards to this, whereby also we've seen another case that has been brought to court before Justice Anthony Murima, whereby there also Omtata had also brought another case just in regards to the appointment of Anne Kananu Mwenda as the Nairobi deputy governor, whereby he was also seeking for that not to happen, for the vetting not to happen, but they've given a lot of submissions, with some saying that it should be given more time for the hearing, given that also the vetting is scheduled according to a notice that had been published in the national dailies. But the vetting of Anne Kananu Mwenda as the Nairobi deputy governor had been scheduled to happen on Friday, which will be on the 15th from 9 a.m. Whereby also we are now waiting for directions from Justice Anthony Murima, whereby he's just signed off from the virtual hearing that was ongoing right now, saying that he'll come back at 4 p.m. to give a ruling, or rather directions, on what will happen in terms of the ruling on determining whether the vetting of Anne Kananu Mwenda as the Nairobi deputy governor will be granted or will be stopped. Also, some of the other cases that we've been following up involve a case involving the Aror and Kimorer Dam, whereby the former Principal Secretary Kamau Thuge, the DPP has dropped charges against the former Principal Secretary Kamau Thuge, and also the former Principal Secretary of Wildlife Susan Koech, in a matter involving the Aror and Kimorer Dam, whereby multi-billion shillings were lost in the procurement of the construction of the two dams, which are the Aror and Kimorer Dam, and therefore the two will now be state witnesses. But they'll be testifying against the former Cabinet Secretary, National Treasury, Henry Rotich, whereby Henry Rotich had last month come to court, whereby he was saying that he's being accused unlawfully, given that he's facing charges, whereby he's accused of allegedly flouting procurement measures of procurement procedures in approving for the funds that were to be used for the construction of the Aror and Kimwarer Dam. Also, we're following up on another case that is to come virtually, which involves Okia Omtata activist Okia Omtata, who had come to court or had moved to court seeking or challenging the appointment of the Deputy Chief Justice Philomena Mbetemwilu as the acting Chief Justice, which is a case of Okia Omtata versus the Judicial Service Commission that is coming up for here. The ruling whereby Justice Anthony Murima will be giving a ruling later on after the case that he's handling right now. We'll be able to give you the details of the ruling on what will transpire in regards to that, and also the directions that Justice Anthony Murima will give in reference to the vetting of Anne Kanan Mwenba that is scheduled for the 15th of January, which will be on Friday from 9 a.m. Given that also earlier on last week, we had seen that the High Court had also barred, or rather suspended, a notice that had been filed by the Electoral Commission that had scheduled the elections or by-elections of Nairobi governor. Well, these are just matters concerning the Nairobi County and the appointment and elections of the Nairobi governor, the deputy governor. We'll be bringing you all that in our subsequent bulletin after we get the directions on the ruling from Justice Anthony Murima at 4 p.m. and also a ruling that we're expecting any moment from now in regards to a case pertaining activist Okia Omtata and the Judicial Service Commission. Back to you, Safina Cheng. I'm Sarafina Robi.
Thank you, Sarafina Robi, for that detailed reporting coming to us from the Milimani Law Courts this morning, as she's following up on quite a number of cases, including the case that was filed in court today by former Nairobi Governor Mike Mbovi Sonko, who is seeking conservatory orders prohibiting the Nairobi County Assembly Speaker Benson Mutura from holding himself as the substantive governor and also acting in that capacity, making decisions such as appointing, reappointing and dismissing persons. And of course also this case touches on the upcoming vetting process of the Anne Kananu, who was appointed for the position of deputy governor. She says that they are awaiting the direction that will be given by Justice Anthony Murima over this particular matter. We will be giving you more details about this